So now we got one erupting in Italy. Drone footage had to capture it. Like, what is happening? What is happening right now? Listen, you know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it. Incredible, amazing, deadly. Don't get me wrong, still extremely, extremely deadly, but amazing. Yet at the same time, I'm just sitting here just in awe of what I'm seeing, and just just everything about a volcano is just mind blowing, but deadly. I have to continue to stress, but deadly.
Here at Bessemer City High School, wearing these will land you here in in-school suspension. Not exactly where you want to be landing, just for shoes. The school's had Crocs folded into its no open toe policy for years, as other schools commonly have with flip-flops and slides. But this is the first school year it's enforcing the policy. Junior Mackenzie Lawson was told to swap on the spot.
When they told you that, what was your first thought?
Are we serious?
Maya Moss got in-school suspension. And at home,
how'd you deal with it?
I took the phone. I took the computer.
For how long?
For 2 weeks.
Maya arguing that Crocs are not a safety issue.
If it's an emergency, we can still wear our Crocs because we can put them in sports mode and we can run.
Who's to say they're going to keep them in sports mode?
It's real easy. Just get your feet, take them out, and put your feet back in.
You can't go on a basketball court and go side to side, lateral, and jump up now and with Crocs on. It's a hallway. Kids are moving. Things are happening. It's a safety hazard.
Some podiatrists say Crocs and open-toe shoes like flip-flops are fine to wear in moderation, but do pose risks.
Crocs can easily get caught in equipment, causing the child to fall or injure their foot or rip a toenail off, things I see in the office on a daily basis.
Maya says she won't wear them to school again, but with 6 pairs in her closet, the Crocaholic will have to sport them somewhere else.
When she got school suspension, in-house suspension, I'm like, no, those are house shoes now.
Here at Bessemer City High School.
Are we serious? This is what we want to go hard on? And I've never wore a pair of Crocs in my life, so I can't sit here and pretend to know how it feels or if it's safe or not. I have to rely on y'all. To me, it just didn't seem like it was major at the top of the priority list when test scores and different things are low. But this is what you choose to battle. I don't know. But Crocs, though? Really? And see, you talking to a person that back in the day when I was in high school, they developed this rule that they wanted everybody to tuck their shirts in and have your shirts tucked in when you come to school. So I got in a lot of trouble for not having my shirt tucked in. You know what I mean? I don't think I ever got in school suspension though. Like, they different nowadays. I was trying to see, is that a bag in their hand right now? The little black bag that they just walked off and left? Like, I never understand it. Why do y'all wait to like a Super Bowl win for your city to then tear the city up? I never could grasp or understand. You want to tear the city up when you win? When everybody's now paying attention to your city for winning the Super Bowl, you want to tear it down? I don't get that. I don't get that. And then what did the business do to deserve that?
I previously served at the U.S. Agency for International.
PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now.
PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now.
I guess these guys don't watch the news. They didn't realize that PEPFAR was one of the many programs that did prove to be life-saving, so the funding was restored. Somebody better give them a link to, I don't know, maybe Fox News or something like that. You may resume your opening statement.
I previously served.
Imagine protesting for a cause that you feel so strongly about, and you don't even know that the funding was restored. So you're essentially possibly about to get arrested for no reason at all. Like, somebody needs to be fired who put that together. Somebody didn't do their job. Somebody messed up. Wow. That threw me off for a loop, though, because I was like, what? What's happening?
Begin with breaking news in Santa Monica, where a homicide investigation is underway. Let's go to Chris Christie live in Air 7. Chris?
That's right, Ellen. We are up above Santa Monica Beach, where there is an active homicide investigation after the body of a woman was found right along the shoreline at about 7 o'clock this morning. They responded out here and found a woman in a sleeping bag with visible trauma to her face. They do not have an identity of that woman. It's unclear if she washed ashore, if somebody dropped that bag off along the beach here. Still lots of questions yet to be answered, and they are working to get us those details. Reporting live from Air 7, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Breaking news, a couple of earthquakes shaking the Inland Empire this morning. They happened about 4.5 miles northeast of San Bernardino near Arrowhead Springs and Highland. The first hit at 9:44 a.m. and had a preliminary magnitude of 3.5. The second just 4 minutes later with a magnitude of 3.0. The shaking caught on our earthquake cam. You can see it there. Viewers called into our newsroom reporting they felt the jolt. No word on any damage or injuries. Breaking news.
I have to ask, because I don't have any wood to knock on, but I've never experienced anything like that. How do you remain living in a place where the ground moves up under you? How do you go back to being normal after something like that happens, bro? Like, the ground just shook, and you expect me now to go be normal, go to work, go lay down, go back to playing PlayStation, whatever I was doing. The ground moved. It's not supposed to do that. I mean, it's supposed to do that, but it's not supposed to do that.
In Loudville, New York, a relentless snow belt near Lake Ontario, the Sheriff's Department is being forced to adapt in the face of worsening lake effect snow.
Sometimes with just inches, it could be a foot of snow in a matter of a couple of hours.
Can't always see it coming.
Right.
Sheriff Mike Carpinelli says he worked with local legislators for years to secure funding for upgraded equipment. Like this snow dune climbing all-terrain version of a police car, which has been critical for responding to emergencies in a county where nearly 200 inches of snow can fall in a winter.
We want to get there as fast as we can, but as safe as we can.
Yep.
It's no good if our guys get stranded or hurt. Sometimes it could be as quick as a half hour, or it could be as long as a couple hours.
It's not just here in the community of Barnes Corners, New York, but other communities nationwide where the changing climate has opened a fire hose of lake effect snow. wider and stronger.
Dan Horton runs Northwestern University's Climate Change Research Group near Chicago.
Because of fossil-fueled global warming, our lakes are warming, and so they're not freezing as much in the winter. Typically, the lake shuts off lake effect snow when it freezes, and that freezing point is occurring later and later each season.
A federal government study in 2017 warned this risk was looming. A paradox of warmer weather leading to more snow in these areas as the lakes become super fuel for lake effect snow bursts. In Michigan and Maine, police have precision driving training to better navigate heavier precipitation. U.S. Marshals tell CBS News they've boosted their snow.
So y'all expect people to go to work in that? Everybody who lived there should have a work from home job. I'm not driving in that. No way. No way. Only way I'm going to work is if I'm one of those firefighters, you know what I mean? First responders. Because being able to drive one of those, I ain't gonna lie, that look fun. That look real fun. Like I definitely come in for overtime just to drive that. And I be on call all the time.
Snowmobile and helicopter evacuation training for northern cities. Sheriff Carpinelli says the success they've seen with the new equipment gives neighboring counties a path to follow. In Loudville.
Yeah, let me ride one. What? I'm on the way. I'm coming, man. What? Man, that don't seem fun to y'all? Or is it just me? I'm tripping. That look fun.
We're in the Panama Canal to better understand how it works and the significance of this engineering marvel to global trade and to the United States.
Luis Rodriguez has been driving boat tours for 8 years.
What does the Panama Canal mean to you?
Eso prácticamente significa la vida de nosotros.
Your life.
Exacto.
What are you hearing about the U.S. wanting to take over the canal?
Piensan que los chinos están operando al 100% cuando es falso.
The United States is the primary user of the Panama Canal. To give you an idea, 70% of all traffic through the canal is made up of shipments that are either going to or coming from the United States. But the second place in terms of use of the canal is China, which makes up about 20% or more than 20% of all of the cargo volume traversing the canal.
Del canal, muchos de nosotros los panameños tenemos beneficios. Al trabajo, realizamos los tours.
You do the tours.
Tenemos también que podemos pescar sin ningún problema.
You can fish.
Correcto.
To what degree does China control anything about the
La realidad no tiene un control.
No control.
No, el control lo tenemos nosotros los panameños.
What do you worry about now that the U.S. is saying that they want to take the canal?
Por ejemplo, nosotros los panameños llevamos una administración y unas reglas. Pero si viene otra administración que no es panameña, ¿qué reglas vendrían nuevas?
You worry about if somebody other than Panama were to control. You worry about what new rules would have to apply to you. How far do you think Panamanians like yourself would go to fight for the canal?
O sea, prácticamente hasta el máximo punto.
To the maximum.
De defender nuestra casa, porque esta es nuestra casa.
This airline passenger says she fell asleep during a flight and woke up to find herself totally alone at midnight on the cold, locked-up plane.
It's completely pitch black. I thought, this is a nightmare. This is not happening.
Tiffany O'Brien says she was full-on panicking on the plane, which was parked far from the terminals.
It's just a sheer sense of helplessness when you feel like you're locked on this aircraft.
When she realized she was trapped on board, she texted a friend, "I just woke up alone in plane, OMG." The friend replied, "What? Nobody woke you up? Can you get off?" Tiffany texted back, "No, the door shut, OMG. I'm stuck by myself alone on plane."
And then my phone died.
Her friend says she called the airport. Tiffany says there was no power on the empty plane, so she couldn't charge her phone. She fumbled around in the pitch dark and made her way to the front of the aircraft and actually entered the cockpit.
Air Canada says it's reviewing the incident and has been in contact with the passenger.
Bro, this isn't the first time I've heard something like this happening. How does this, do they not check the plane? Like inspect the plane before they shut it down, close it up, shut the door, seal it up? How do you not check to make sure every passenger is off? That seems like a simple task that should be applied to every trip. Like, do nobody not go through and clean the plane after people get off? Like, that makes no sense. Like, that's crazy.
Ms. McMahon, now for your opening statement, and you're welcome to introduce your guest.
Thank you very much, Chairman Cassidy. Yes, I'd like to introduce my daughter, Stephanie McMahon, Paul Levesque, her husband, and my son.
That's Triple H, baby. What? D-Generation X Triple H. Oh, my bad. Like I'm fanning out right now or something. Like, that's Triple H. I ain't never heard nobody call him Paul.
Shane McMahon. I'm so happy to have them here, and many friends have come from far places, so I welcome having them here today and appreciate that they're here. So, thank you, Chairman Cassidy, Ranking Member Sanders, and distinguished members of the committee. I'm honored to have your consideration to serve as the Secretary of the Department of Education. And I'd like to thank both Senators Scott and Britt for their introductions. Certainly. And I'd like to thank both Senators Scott and Britt for their introductions and for the opportunity to welcome my friends and family. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. I would also like to thank President Trump for his confidence in me to lead a department whose mission and authority were a special focus of his campaign. He pledged to make American education the best in the world, return education to the states where it belongs, and free American students from the education bureaucracy through school choice. November proved that Americans overwhelmingly support the president's vision, and I am ready to enact it. Education is the issue that determines our national success and prepares American workers to win the future. I've been passionate about education since my earliest college days when I studied to earn a teaching certificate. This has continued through my business career as a Connecticut State Board of Education member, as a university trustee, and as the chair of the America First Policy Institute, which advocates for workforce development, parental choice, and accountability in higher education.
I had no clue. Only thing I could picture her is standing inside of the ring, and I think she either slapped Stephanie or something. I can't remember, but I remember Vince. What's her name again? Linda McMahon. She slapped somebody or something like that in the ring. That's all I can see and picture right now. All of this just don't make no sense to me.
I'm also a mother and a grandmother, and I join millions of American parents who want better schools for our kids and grandkids. The legacy of our nation's leadership in education is one that every person in this room embraces with pride. Unfortunately, many Americans today are experiencing a system in decline. The latest scores from the nation's report card show achievement in K through 12 math and reading at their lowest level in years. More than 2/3 of public colleges are beset by violent crime on campuses every year. And most tragically, student suicide rates have dramatically increased over the last 2 decades. We can do better. We can do better for the elementary and junior high school student by teaching basic reading and mathematics, for the college freshman facing censorship or anti-Semitism on campus, and for parents and grandparents who worry that their children and grandchildren are no longer taught American values and true history. In many cases, our wounds are caused by the excessive consolidation of power in our federal education establishment. So what's the remedy? Fund education freedom, not government-run systems. Listen to parents, not politicians. Build up careers, not college debt. Empower states, not special interests. Invest in teachers, not Washington bureaucrats. If confirmed as Secretary, I will work with Congress to reorient the department toward helping educators, not controlling them. My experience as a business owner and leader of the Small Business Administration, as a public servant in the state of Connecticut, and more than a decade of service as a college trustee has taught me to put parents, teachers, and students, not bureaucracy, first. Outstanding teachers are tired of political ideology in their curriculum and red tape on their desks. And that's why school choice is a growing movement across the nation. It offers teachers and parents an alternative to classrooms that are micromanaged from Washington, D.C. We should also emphasize career-focused education, especially in cutting-edge STEM fields, where American companies need high-skilled employees. Our workers deserve more post-secondary pathways, career-aligned programs, apprenticeships, and on-the-job learning. and jobs in tech, skilled trades, and healthcare for non-college degree holders. Those who do attend college deserve transparent costs and courses of study aligned to workforce demand. The United States is the world leader by far in emerging.
Ew, I just randomly bust out laughing looking at Triple H, bro. Anybody? I am such a kid. I don't understand why. Oh man, I'm just sitting here just thinking about laughing at Triple H or something he's done in the wrestling ring or something, man.
Technologies like AI and blockchain, and we need to invest in American students who want to become tech pioneers. We should encourage innovative new institutions, develop smart accountability systems, and tear down barriers to entry so that students have real choice and universities are not saddling future families with unsurmountable debt. We must protect all students from discrimination and harassment. And if I am confirmed, the department will not stand idly by while Jewish students are attacked and discriminated against. It will stop forcing schools to let boys and men into female sports and spaces. And it will protect the rights of parents to direct the moral education of their children. The opportunity before us these next 4 years is momentous. I look forward to working with the committee, our nation's parents, teachers, and students, and education leaders from all political perspectives to build a better future for every American learner. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today, and I look forward to your questions.
Ms. McMahon, now.
Hey, man, schools should be free. I feel that way. Schools should be free. Nobody should have to pay to go to school to help better this country is what they're going to do when they graduate anyway. So, in that reason, schools should be free. Simple.
Some reports have said that it's possible Japanese automaker Nissan has just about a year to survive.
They have a lot of debt. They have dwindling profits and cash.
Nissan is in panic mode, looking for somebody to save them.
Profits fell 90% in the first half of 2024 from the same period the year prior. To ensure its survival, it is seeking an anchor investor. Nissan is in talks to merge.
Nissan is fighting to survive right now. That's crazy to hear. I always thought Nissan would be around for forever. To me, it's like Honda.
Merge with Japanese rival Honda.
A tie-up with Honda would be better than almost any other OEM that I can think of.
This is bigger than a merger between two companies that have to be Japanese. This is the end of an era, in a sense, where the Japanese find themselves under attack from an emergent and ascending Chinese auto industry.
Nissan's crisis is a dramatic reversal of the far healthier results seen at the end of the company's 2023 fiscal year. It has cut production, jobs, and executive salaries. Its problems aren't U.S. specific. It's challenged in China, Europe, and emerging markets. Long overshadowed by Japan's leading names, it in recent years has suffered blow after blow. A longtime alliance with another automaker is strained. A once admired former CEO is an international fugitive. Once a leader in EVs, Nissan has been eclipsed.
So some of its electric vehicles that were pioneers got old and were not competitive enough. And then the Chinese arrive and change everything.
A new partnership with another automaker, even a Chinese one, might be its best shot.
These are desperate measures that demonstrate that they were not prepared for this new reality after pandemic and after the semiconductor shortage, which put the Chinese car makers almost at the top.
While the global auto industry's total sales grew by 2% in the first half of 2024, Nissan's fell by 1.6%. The company blamed its drop in operating income on fewer sales, greater sales incentives, and inflation.
It's been struggling in the market. It's been struggling at home. It doesn't have the right product lineup. There are so many warning signs, so many red flags around Nissan.
Like larger Japanese rivals Toyota and Honda, Nissan is a global automaker. The U.S. is its largest market. Lately, China has yielded the biggest losses. In the first half of fiscal 2024, sales fell by more than 5%. From January to October of that year, that number was 10%. In October 2024, Nissan sold 61,170 units in China. In October 2017, it had sold 3 times that amount. But the US has been a declining market for the company too. Sales of the Nissan brand fell by 34% over the course of the pandemic. Sales for Infiniti, Nissan's premium or luxury brand, fell by more than 55%.
That's crazy, but now that you really think about it, you don't really hear nobody talking about a Nissan, buying a Nissan. You see the new Nissan that came out? I can't tell you the last time I've heard somebody, which is crazy because my wife's first vehicle when we were dating, she had was a Nissan Sentra. That's what she had, a gray Nissan Sentra. Super reliable, good on gas. I never forget that. Because we was broke. And boy, filling that thing up, it didn't take much.
It's the worst performance of any brand in the US. Part of the problem is a product lineup that hasn't kept up with the times or is misaligned with the market.
Because they still have, in my opinion, product quality that's not as good as Honda or Toyota or Mazda or the Koreans. It doesn't have really innovative designs like we've come to expect from the Korean brands. And now I would say Toyota is having some more innovative styling. And it doesn't have the dealer network in the US where there's a lot of loyalty and trust and love that exists between the dealers and Nissan corporate.
Nissan plans to discontinue its Titan full-size pickup in North America. Pickups are a huge market and tend to be profitable. A recent attempt at a comeback for Infiniti, a large...
Now, I do take that back. I didn't think about the Titan. I have heard people talk about the Titan. I don't know why I never associated with Nissan, though. You hear the word Titan, well, I don't have the Titan chair. Oh, I still thought I had a Titan chair, but you hear the word Titan, but you don't hear Nissan Titan, so that's probably why I didn't think about that.
Large SUV was priced too high.
They've got a product that came out that dealers were excited about at first, and then they feel like it's overpriced. There's a lot of products you can buy for $100,000. You can buy a Range Rover for $100,000, or a Land Rover. You could buy,
Escalade. You can get an Escalade for $100,000. Like, why would I get Infiniti or something else when you can get an Escalade for $100,000?
An Escalade. You can buy BMW. You can buy a Mercedes. There's a lot, and I don't think the Infiniti brand stands in the consumer's mind at the same level as those brands.
This is hardly the first time Nissan has been in trouble. Its last brush led to an alliance with French maker Renault in 1998, to which smaller Japanese maker Mitsubishi was later added. The following revival largely took place under the leadership of former CEO Carlos Ghosn, a Lebanese-Brazilian outsider. Ghosn became something of a legend in Japan before a spectacular downfall that ended with him escaping house arrest in a musical equipment case.
Former Nissan chairman Carlos Ghosn had been under house arrest in Japan. Now, Ghosn is no longer under house arrest. He's landed in Lebanon.
Nissan was still reeling from this episode in the years leading up to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Nissan was struggling before the pandemic hit, that there was a lot of supply out there in the marketplace back then. If you look at the history of Nissan, it's always been the number 3 Japanese brand. Toyota, Honda, Nissan. Nissan's always been kind of the third, the Japanese stepchild in a way.
Renault would later reduce its stake in Nissan from 43% to 15%.
Yes, it's still an alliance. There are still partners. But as the word says, it's an alliance. So it's not a marriage. They are somehow together but separate. It worked under Carlos Ghosn because he was the only one who could make the Japanese, French people work together. And probably it was also one of the reasons why he was sent out of the company, because he was trying to merge these companies.
The COVID years brought shortages, chips, raw materials, and of course, vehicles. Suddenly, every automaker was able to sell every vehicle it had for a strong price and a strong profit.
And then in the words of Warren Buffett, when the tide went out, you could see who was swimming naked.
In fiscal year 2023, Nissan sold 794,000 units in China. In its original 2024 forecast, the company estimated a 3% decline, but it revised its forecast down another 10%, and the outlook for every region is more pessimistic than its previous. Though it foresees improvement in North America, it is still a downward revision from its earlier target and not enough to offset losses elsewhere. While automakers were raking in cash in some markets, conditions in the world's largest were turning against them. Virtually every car maker faces an onslaught of highly competitive Chinese cars. 63% of the vehicles sold in China are made by domestic companies, a 27% increase since 2020. This has hit Nissan especially hard.
It's 1/5 of their sales coming from a market that don't want to buy foreign car brands anymore. So you are, let's say, quite exposed to it, and the response has been quite low, as it has been the case for Volkswagen, for the German premiums, and even Toyota, Hyundai. All of the ones operating in China are taking longer to respond to this shift in demand in China.